The Games Workshop has released the new FAQ for Age of Sigmar 4th edition, Skaventide, the 24 September 2025. And here there's been quite a lot of small changes, but some of them are really quite important. The most important part is the part about the points, because there's been really a lot of things has changed, and for almost all the armies. So you have to go to see about if it will last your roosters, even if they are really quite balanced in some ways for some, but others, for example, the city of Simar, are really quite heavily changed and negative ones, so you have to pay more points. So you have to pay attention. Anyway, here you don't have quite a lot of problem, because all the part that has been changed has been put, for example, for the Scourge Gear, also in the part about the rules updates. So you have everything there. You don't have to go crazy and see what has been changed, making comparison, even if I done for an experiment. But here are all there, so it's really quite nice. Remember anyway that has been brought also the part about the azimuth of a shoot with the spearhead, for example, and that one it's obvious because has been listed the new army set about the azimuth of a shoot, the Castarso, okay, and so they bring you up here so that you can find them about the spearhead, so that you can play immediately, because remember that it's available, and then also about their points, so they are separate, because the next month we see them integrated, even if there has not been yet published officially the Battletome of the azimuth of a shoot, and that I think that I'll buy. I try also to bring up a review, because I'm quite interested about their background, so okay. But now we go to see about some points for the azimuth, and then about the part about the facts and the general point for all the other armies, because we need to make and understand, because it's really quite a lot of things to say about the points, so we need a bit of time. Still, let's see a bit about from the beginning for the azimuth points, because I'm really quite curious to see if they are really quite costly or not, and so we can have a sight about. So let's see about the azimuth of a shoot or castouts, because we know that are them, and I think that they are quite cheap if you think about the amount of points, so not bad. Okay, you had the two main pieces that are the Demosmith on Infernal Taurus and the Uraktar that are expensive, but even less than also other pieces in other armies. I'm really quite intrigued by that Taurus, because it's one of my favorite Pokemon, okay? But anyway, it's really intriguing, and I'm quite curious to know how they can be played and so on, because they are technically a completely new army, and it's not bad at all. And really, I'm quite curious about the background and so on, so I'm really quite waiting for their Battletome, because remember, these profiles will be included the next month, October, in the main one, because it will be also released the Battletome that I try to buy, because I'm curious about their background and their way to play, even if I'll not buy the part about the Mewtwo's, because otherwise I will have bought the army set itself. And it's not bad in my opinion. It has really quite intriguing part. Obviously, that are also the new Regiment of Renown that are being updated, so you can find them eventually in the part about the battle profiles for the Regiment of Renown that are being updated. So it's quite nice in my opinion. You can have quite a lot of intriguing option. So for now, you can try the part about the army of renown and the part about the spearheads. So not bad. And now let's start with the rules updates. About here, remember that I'll treat only about the new facts. So if you're interested about the previous ones, remember that you can find the link in the description about the previous ones, because each time I bring up only about the updated parts. And this time I skip directly to the part about the General Handbook 25-26, because about the basic and the advanced rules has not changed anything. So I skip directly to the part that has changed. So let's go. So let's start from the General Handbook 25-26, and we can find about the Battle Tactics Card Scouting Force that has been a rephrasing, okay? Because it's the same, but it's been changed only the final part. So from wholly within friendly territory becomes a scout unit 2 that was not set up in reserve using a deploy ability to become a scout unit. It's quite important as change, so pay attention, and this part has been changed quite often, okay? But still, it's quite better in this way, in my opinion. And then there's been some part that has been a replacing, okay, but simply because it was from the more objective or terrain feature to more objective or non-faction terrain feature. So for both of these parts, so in the strike bold explorer battle tactic and in domination courageous adventure battle tactics rule. So it's a way to adjust, but it's simply, I can say, better understanding of what you can use. So okay, not a problem. Then we can see that for the most part, even here remain the same. And about the faction pack, remember that we have two main changes, and the other part about the deleting of the free shooter course and the night hunt, because as been listed, and I made also the videos about the new battletomes for these two armies. So you have to pay attention about these two ones, because obviously the parts that are deleted about this has been obsolete because they are not anymore valid, and you have to go to see about the facts for these armies. So it's understandable that they are out now. And there's been also some other little changes, for example, about the facilities with the player lore. Okay, you have to see if it's up to you. Remember that this being a faction pack still aside, the facilities has been updated also the part about the facilities, because this, so you can see the updated document, but it's because there's been changed like this, and I love that there is such things, because you can understand what has been changed without any problem. I quite like this way. We can move on. We can see that the most part are the same here again, the night hunt as I said, and then there is something else a bit upper. Okay, we can see that the most part are exactly the same, and here there's been also some update for the facts related about the armies. So for example, about Blades of Con has been take out one because it's not anymore valid the sim. So okay, not bad. Obviously the one about the fish course, but there's been deleted also one about the Gnusped Guides. One thing that I love is that it's symbol what has been removed, because I could understand, for example, if there's been removed the part about the fish course and the night hunt, because I know that they have been moved, because has been listed the new codices, the new battletomes, okay, but here what has been changed, it's important part, because here the Gnusped Kids, if that been removed without any sign, you would not know that has been removed, other than the ones that are interested, or because you see some changes, but being removed some other things too, you don't find them anymore what has been changed. So see like this, it's something that I know, and who that Ram 40k will learn from this about the facts, and it will not be the opposite, so that they decrease the amazing part of this. Okay, and really, as you can see, also the night hunt obviously because has been removed, as we've seen, and then we can start to see about the other digital downloads. Here we can see about the Battletome night hunt. Here, for example, I made an experiment to see if I was able to see all the changes, but I like, because I found the part about the abilities, and it's quite simple, because it's a simple way to change the part about, in this case, for the timing. So it was passive, and now it has become once per turn army, any combat phase. Okay, this one I was able to find, but be able, for example, to find the part about the change of rent, because, for example, I missed it. I not noticed at the beginning. So being able to see for sure what has been changed in such way, so you don't have to focus on two documents step by step aside and see what has been changed, it's really quite an amazing part. I love that has been done in such a way, because it's precise and it's much better. Then we can see, for example, also about the legends has been changed. For example, the Crypt Gas Courtier, that it's a model that it's quite obsolete now, okay, but see the replace about the courtier to noble keyword, it's quite important, because it means that anyway it's taken note about these little changes, even if they are legends, remember. So it's quite important to see about this. Then we can see about also some change for the Cosmos Event Regiment of Renown. So okay, for the Stumblefoot Gargant. And okay, there is the part about the Solomon Chore. It's really quite interesting to see. There are quite a lot of things also about the Scourge. So you've seen that has been updated about the Scourge. Here you know what has been changed, and it's really quite important. Think about the City of Sigmar, that has been the part about Zenestra, here about the Sigma's Will. So it's something that it becomes really quite important to understand how has been changed the things, and having this let you know for sure what has been updated. So without any go crazy to find out, it's something that I like. Also about the current overlord, for example, also about the night hunt. Here we can know what has been changed in a document that otherwise it would be quite rich to search for. So we can find, for example, that's been corrected the word save for the Cursus Valentian and the Black Coach, but also about the spell keywords, the heroic trait. Here I was able to find, but it's a document that it's really quite interesting, okay, to see everything that eventually it's changed. And here it's simply a rephrasing, so don't worry, it's simply something that explaining much better what it was not a so clear text. So okay, it's really quite good about that heroic trait. And here we can find one thing that I was really interested about, because it's about the Army of Renown, but it was published on the Dwarf issue 514, because it was the first one that hasn't the mark about being legend. So technically, even myself, I thought that it was usable, because if it doesn't have the mark that all the others Army of Renown has seen for the armies in the Dwarf, instead here it marks it like a legend Army of Renown. So you can use it, but you can't use eventually in official tournaments and so on. So it's another way to play, but still I suggest you to try if you are like, because they give you quite a lot of really quite interesting way to play different ways. So good that has been done such fact, because for example, if you ask me, I would say, okay, it's not marked as a legend, so it's not a legend. Instead, here it defined it as a legend. Okay, we know for sure now. And then we can see about the Battletome Blades of Corn, some little adjustment. Here are really little things that has been corrected, so little timing correction and Karanak, okay, but it's not a problem. It's okay, not bad. And then we move about the Flesh Eater Curse. Okay, about the battle trait is simply explained in better way, because it's exactly the same, simply a little adjustment. And about the battle formation, the battle trait and the artifacts for the same thing, it's a rephrasing. So it's a little adjustment about only one specification that it's about the battle formation. It's a way to avoid some loop. Okay, it's only that. Then we move about the Aberrant Cold King on Zombie Dragon. Okay, this has changed, but not completely. What it's messing about is that they change the paragraph, so they inverted the two paragraphs, so the second one is the first and vice versa. Okay, but what has been changed, it's about the test that it's important. So about the first part, that it's the first part in this fact. Okay, it's about while change the effect of for the kingdom and so on, while you believe in this solution, add one for the challenge roll for friendly knights unit and friendly Flesh Eater Curse monster while there are wholly within 12 inch. Before, okay, it was wholly within 12 inch of any Abhorrent Cold King on Royal Dragon. Now it is wholly within 12 inch of any Flesh Eater Curse heroes, so much better now. Instead, the second part, that first was the first one, it's about before this Abhorrent Cold King on Zombie Dragon. Now it's of wholly within 12 inch of any friendly Abhorrent Cold King on Royal Zombie Dragon, so even better now. So here has been a change, but it's quite important then, because changed what you had to consider as a way to give bonus, so pay attention. Then about High Falcon and Fagin, that has been a simple change, because before it was not on the battlefield, now it's not next to an enemy unit, so it's a little change, important one, but a little change. Then we can find about the Blue Spite Kids, that's button, that's see a new fact. Okay, you have to see if you're interested about. Then about the Idle Keeping, also here some little changes that are quite small at the end, and a new fact if you're interested about this army. About the Battletome Card Overload, here we can see some change about the battle trait that are more a rephrasing about the Arcanum Frigate that continue to change in some way about this unit. Okay, the Artifact Power, so there are small changes that you have to take note. And about the Night Hound, that has seen a important but little change. So before it was in the declare step chain of death, replace pick an enemy hero unit with pick a visible enemy hero unit, so you have to see it. A little change, important one, but little anyway. So the Night Hunt are the ones that have seen the few changes, okay, not bad. Then we can see about the Orc War clans that see again some little change about some pieces, okay. But okay, this and the Gloomspike hits tend to have quite a lot of every time small changes, sometimes okay, are the ones that have seen most changes, the Orcs. About the Skaven, practically there is nothing. Slate to Darkness too, okay. As you can see, they are a lot stable, so it's not a problem. The Soulblight Gravelords has seen no changes. The Stormcast Titans too, so you can see there's been quite stable about this option, Ravage of course, so it's really quite interesting because it means that this edition is really quite stable as rules. Okay, you update something because maybe there is interaction with something that has been released after, so you have to correct the thing, but there is not quite a lot. So now let's go to see about the points, because there's been quite a lot of changes. And so let's start with the battle profiles, and here we see a lot of changes because practically all the armies have seen some change in points. And here we can start with the City of Sigmar, where really has seen quite heavy misshape because we see a lot of units that increased a bit in some ways. So the battle mage 10 point, the battle mage on Celestial Hurricane 20, the Calice and Toll 10 points more, Frigald Marshal and Relic Envoy 10 points more, the Scourge Pontifex Zenestra 10 points more, okay, this is understandable. Then the Celestial Haricum again 20 points more. I think that this it's involved in the part about the battle mage we've seen, so it's the Celestial Haricum that seen something change, okay. The Frigald Common Corpse 30 points more, this is quite heavy, okay. The Frigald Steelhams 10 points more, the Hammers 10 points more. So as you can see, also the part about the options, so the battle formation, the veteran cannoneers 30 points more, okay, this is understandable, okay. The heroic trait cosmopolitan leader 20 points more, the artifact power blazer of holy flame 20 points more. So okay, it's good to see anyway that they use this part to change the point specific on a certain thing instead of that everything up, but still we can see that a lot of things seen a change. The also Kane too has seen some changes. So for example, the Brothwreck Medusa 10 points less, okay. The Cretusa the Conceal 10 points more. The Slaughter Queen on Cloud Drone of Blood 10 points more. The Scourge of Giran, Brothwreck Shine and the Cretusa the Conceal 20 points more here. Notice the difference of the Cretusa the Conceal, the version normal one, and the Scourge of Giran. It's 100 points of difference. It's quite a lot. Okay, it's really quite heavy as change this one. So the Avatar of Cain 10 points less, at least something. The Bloodstalker 10 points less. The Cannon Lit Stalkers 10 points more. The Kinerai Left Takers 20 points more. Here, okay, you have to understand that the word's quite cheaper. Still, it's quite heavy as a change. The Sister of Slaughter with the Bladed Blackers 10 points more. The Witch Harvest with paired Shansa, it's 10 points more, okay. But also we've seen the Battle Formation Arena Veterans 20 points more, and the Prayer Lore, the Bloodshadow Rides 20 points more. So it's quite heavy in a lot of ways, okay. It's really quite heavy. The first days has seen quite some changes. So for example, the Auric Runson on Magma Drought 10 points less, and the Grimhold Exile 10 points less, okay. The Skujugiran Runson on Magma instead it's 10 points more, but notice again the difference of 70 points now from the normal one and the Skujugiran one. Then we have some decreasing point about the Hellsguard Berserkers with Flame Strike Poalaxis, the Vulcanite Berserker with the Bladed Siege Chains, and with the Fast Steel Weapons. So in some way you can save quite a lot of money to pay everything else. Okay, it can be understandable. And they're quite limited about this battle formation skill or Vulcatrix and the Article of Power Dwarf Helm. So in some way you can absorb such increase on point with this, because if you're able to play the ones that are decreased, you can balance quite well, even gaining something. Then the Deepkin and see a lot of units that decrease on point. So the Eidolon of Maltan 10 points less, and the aspect of Storm it's 20 points less. So okay. The Isharan that casts 10 points less. The Skujugiran Adskelion Trollmaster 10 points less. Okay, nice. Then we can see the Ascalian Alopex that I see 10 point more, but we see the Ascalian Leodon 10 point less, so it's quite expensive, but still saving something, it's always quite welcome. The Namarty Reverse, it's 10 point less, so not bad. But we see that the battle formation, the TLC Predators, it's 20 point more. It's really quite interesting that we've seen quite a lot of part about battle formation artifacts and so on that see a change of point to balance more than the instances. I quite appreciated that. Then we had the current overall that see increase of point, and it's quite heavy because, for example, adding master with adding sharpness, it's 30 point more. Okay, it was not so expensive, but still 30 point is quite a lot. But we see also Grunstone Gunhauler that it's 20 point more, the Sky Wardens 10, the Volgrim Harpoon Q 20 more, the Volgrim Salvages are 20 point more, and the Skudjugiran Grunstock Gunhauler it's 30 point more. So okay, but if you notice, it's quite interesting because first they were the same, the normal version and the Skudjugiran version. Now they have increased in point, but in the way that the Skudjugiran costs a bit more. So pay attention about the one that you are going to want to use. Then we can see again something that has been updated about the part about the battle formation, because we had the Handliness Guild Expeditionary Force 10 point more, and Artifact Power Blazebird and Son Boom Frog Gun, it's 10 point more. So it's and also the faction terrain, the Zontari Adrian Dog 20 point more. So here you have to pay something, and I don't like about the faction terrain that costs something, that because they seem that they are a tax to play, because if you think about the battle formation, you have other choices, artifacts the same, but the faction terrain is something that they should be always included, and see it costing, it's not so great in my opinion, but okay, understandable. Then we have about the Luminarium Lords. Here it's a mix of increasing and decreasing. So we had the Archmage tech list that it's 20 point less, but it costs yet quite a lot. So verify if you need it. Then Elania Eternator, it's 10 point more, but Huracan Windmage 10 point less. Lyrion Ultral Warden of Metrica, it's 10 point less. The Shinari Catalia is 23 point more, but it was quite cheap, so okay, it's understandable. The Sevirate Lord of Seventh Wind, it's 10 point more. The Vanari Lord Legend, it's 20 point less. And here again, the Skudjugiran part, so we can see the Light of Eltarion, it's 20 point more, and the Banner Blade, that is 10 point more. So okay, you have to decide if you need them. And then again, the Alarit Spirit of the Moment, 20 point less. Here it's interesting because eventually you can try to think about playing two of them. The Vanari Aurelian Sentinels 10 point more, and the Vanari Blade Lords 10 point more. So okay, but the Vanari Dawn Riders and the Vanari Star Shard Ballista, it's 10 point less each. So it's in some way balancing, okay, but even a bit more costly in this case. And again, we see two battle formation gain 10 point more, so the Vanari Battle Shot and the Shinari Council, and also the Spell Lore of Prismatic Resonance, that it's 10 point more. So, but it's from the Skudjugiran, that one. So you have to decide if you need or not such things. Then we move to the Seraphon that see a decrease on point, crazy one, because we see Lord Croak 10 point less, okay, you can use or not, but the Saurus Absolute Beer 10 point less, it's welcome. The Saurus of Blood 20 point less, welcome. Saurus Blood, All Blood on Carnosaur 10 point less, it's amazing one, I love because I play it. The Saurus Carve Veteran on Agradon 10 point less, and for a certain type of armies I think that it's quite amazing. The Skinter Priest 10 point less, Slans and Mars 20 point less. This it's something that can change, because eventually you can think about replacing, for example, I tend to use two Saurus of Blood on Carnosaurus, and for the same price eventually I can choose, for example, to have one of them becoming a Slan for the same price. So quite welcome. The Assembled Pack 150, remember that it's something that we've seen added the last month. The Pterodon Shift 10 point less, the Skudjugiran Saurus All Blood on Carnosaurus 20 point less here too. And notice that anyway it costs more anyway than the one that it's the standard, but being decreased for both of them, you can choose eventually even more about the Skaventide one that essentially I prefer too, so you can decide eventually which one you prefer. Then we can see about the Agodon Lancer, 10 point less, and this it's welcome. They could be even a bit better, in my opinion. The Engine of God, 10 point less, this is really quite going down as price. Every time I see it's really going cheaper and cheaper. Okay. Then we can see the Croxigore was spawned that and the Crox that it's 10 point less, and sincerely here it's 10 point or different that make you decide which one to play. But now at least you can play, for example, the was spawn for the point that you used the Croxigore before, so eventually you can make a sort of update. Then we can see the Raptodon charges and the Raptodon hunters that it's 10 point less each. The Sarus Warriors 10 point less. This is good because it means that you can play more of them. I like. Then the Stegodon 10 point less. Again, here as for the Engine of God, always plummeting as price. At least here now the Riamshita engine it's free because it's 20 point less, so now it's 0, and I quite appreciate such things sincerely because before I was even not so sure to want to play it. Then we move to the Storm Casetanas that see a decrease on point on a tons of units. So we had the Celestial Prime, the Drakeworn Templar, the Ionus Capable Warder of the Lost Souls, and here I quite like because I like to play it, and being cheaper, it's better. Okay, welcome. Illidan, the Witness, 30 point less. It's quite a lot, this one. Karazai, the Scarred, 20 point less. Here, I think that, okay, they could have taken this stay stable, but okay, there is. The Knight Aziros, 10 point less. The Knight Vexilor and the Crondi, here, 10 point less. And the Crondis, the same for the Karazai, so other 20 point less also for this one. Then we had the Lord Aquilor and the Lord Celestant 10 point less each. Lord Celestant now for 100 point, it's something that you can really think about including as a way to put everywhere, okay? The Lord Commander Bastian Cartalos 30 point less, this is quite a lot. Lord Relicor, it's 10 point less. Here I quite appreciate because I love the Lord Relicor, so okay. The Lord Terminus 10 point less, the Lord Vigilant on Gristalkers 10 point less. Again, the Nived Black Talon 10 point less. Here, sincerely could have taken that stay stable. Okay. Then we had the part about the Tonus the Redeemer that it's 20 point less. Okay, quite a lot here. Hydrasta 20 point less. So again, quite a lot also here. Then we move and we see the Annihilator 10 point less to make you use. Okay. The Annihilator with Meteoric Grand Armors 10 point less. Sincerely, this could have been done even a bit more, but okay. The Liberators 10 point less. Here, they are for now less than 100 points, so it's not bad. The Petos, again, 10 point less. As for the Stormdrake Chariot, okay. And the Vanquisher, again, 10 point less. So here you can decide if you go about the Liberators and the Vanquisher, for example, because the Vanquisher now costs the same that it was before for the Liberators, so not bad. Then at least there's been no increase on point for the part about anything, but we've seen that the Storm Casetanas is only a plummeting about. Then we move about the Sivanet that see a quite a lot of decrease on point because we had the Spirit of Durtu that it's 10 point less. The Lady of Wines 30 point less. It's quite a lot to play this. The Trilord 10 point less, and same for the Trilord Ancient. The Scourge of Giran Drika Hammer Hadre 20 point less, so okay, not bad. You can choose eventually the alternative. The Dryads 10 point less. Okay, this it's even better because it means more mass. The Kunut Hunters with Kunut Gitswords and Kunut Shiters, it's 10 point less each, so okay. The Spite Rider Lancers 20 point less, it's quite a lot for this unit. The Tree Revenant 10 point less, so you can have quite a lot of fun. Really, because now you can choose about, again, playing the Dryads or the Tree Revenants, but even in better combinations. And again, nothing that has changed. Maybe it should have been better to see the heroic trait and relative to power decrease on power in points, so it's up to you if it's worth or not. Then we move about the Blades of Corn. Here, some increase and some decrease, because we had the Blast Fist of Insensate Rage, 10 point less, okay. And the Blast Fist of Unfettered Fury, 20 points less. So that really make a up, down, okay. That have bring a 10 point more, okay, understandable. Scarbrand, 20 point less, okay. The Skullgrinder, 10 point more. And the Wrath of Korn Bloodthirster, it's 10 point less. So, okay, the Great Demon of Corns here are quite diverse. You can choose the one that you prefer based on the point that remain here, okay. And then we can see about the Mighty Skull Crushers that it's 10 point less. Okay, welcome, these ones, essentially. The Skull Reapers, 10 point less, and the Wrathmongers, 10 point less. Not bad. And the Skujogina Blood Crushers, 20 point less. So, okay, not bad. And they are a little more expensive than the normal ones, so it's up to you to decide, because eventually if you say something, you could choose the Skujogina version eventually. Then we move about the Disciples of Tzeentch. So we had the Herald of Tzeentch, the Church Cast, 10 point less. Instead, the Fat Scheme, the Herald of the Twins of Tzeentch on Burning Chariot, 10 point more. The Carus Fate Weaver, 20 point less. Same for the Lord of Tzeentch. So, okay. And this is becoming really quite intriguing. The Magister of Discount Tzeentch is 10 point less, so you can see quite a lot, at least on the QG. Then we had the Blue Horus and Brimstone Horus 10 point less. Here, Sincerely could have even increased them. Okay. The Flames of Tzeentch 10 point less. Okay, this could be avoided. The Jade Obelisk 20 point more. Okay, the Pink Horus 10 point less, and same for the Tsangor of Skyfires. Sincerely, Pink Horus and the Blue Horus could be take the same or improve the amount of point, in my opinion. I don't like them too much. Then we can move about the Eternity of Slaanesh. Here you can see the the Contoured Epitome that is 10 point less. The Shessa is 20 point less. Glutus, Lord of Gluttony, is 30 point less. This is quite cheaper if you are going to play with it. Then we have the Shalaxi Hellbrain, 10 point less. Same for Sigvald. Okay. Then Sinessa, the Voice of Slaanesh, is 20 point less. So we have both the ones that are about the voice and the talent that see a 20 point decrease. Okay. The Scourge of Giran Siles, it's 10 point less. Okay, if you're going to play, it's not bad. Then we move to the Fiends, 10 point less. Here it's quite important about these ones. The Mimidesh Bringers, 10 point less again. Same for the Slick Blade 6 and the Simbaresh Twin Souls, that it's 10 point less each. So, okay, you can save quite a lot of points, so much that eventually you can start to include something else, or eventually try the active auto power that costs something. Then we move about the Magotine of Nargo that see again a lot of decrease on point. So we have the Grit and Clean 20 point less, this is heavy. The Grutok Spoom 10 point less, okay. Same for the Horticulus Slimux that it's point less, and the Lord of Affliction 10 point less. This is quite interesting, sincerely. Lord of Plagues 10 point less, and same for the Morbitex Twestborn. Then the Rotbringer Soulbringer Sorcerer, it's 10 point less. This is something that it's interesting to play some sorcerers. Okay. Then we have the Spoilex Scrivener that it's point less, and same for the Glotkin, but this is quite costly. And notice that the Glotkin anyway costs more than the Glint and Clean. Okay, not bad. Then we have the Beast of Nargo 10 point less. This I quite like, because it means that you can play more. Then we have the Black Drones that it's 10 point less. Here it becomes quite heavy. It's if they increase again 10 points, becomes really quite crazy about, so better that they stay like this. The Pusgoil Black Lords 10 point less, okay, not bad. Anyway, you can say quite a lot that you can invest in other units, so eventually on other things. Then we move about the Scaven that see some increase, some decrease. For example, the Arch Warlock, it's 20 point less, but the Death Master 20 point more. The Grey Seer on Screaming Bell 40 point less. This is quite heavy at discount. The Crit Talk Full Blade, here it's really a twist tongue, 10 point less. Then we have the Plague Priest on Plague Furnace that it's 10 point more, at least something that increases. The Vermilord Corruptor, it's 20 point less. Here it's quite heavy. The Vermilord Warbringers, it's 10 point less, so that the Vermilord are, for these two versions, are both 300 points. Then we had the Scourge of Giran, the Grisir on Scheming Bandits, it's 20 point more. Notice the difference of the point comparing the Grisir on the Scheming Bill and the Scourge of Giran one. So we have 310 for the normal one and 330 for the Scourge of Giran one. So they decrease quite a lot the normal one, so that the Scourge Giran will be able to bypass it as point. Okay, you can understand that there is quite heavy, because before it was costing less than the normal one. Then we had the Brute Terror, that it's 30 point less, quite heavy. The Doom Wheel, 10 point less. Okay, and the Plug Monks, 10 point more. Then again, because we have a lot of units in the Skaven, the Warp Grinder, it's 10 point less, and same for the Warplock Jazzers. Sincerely, the Jazzers have bad memories about, so even if they don't decrease, I quite appreciate. Okay, then we move about the Slate to Darkness, where we see the Abraxia 20 point less, Archon 30 point less. Okay, it's quite expensive anyway, so you have really to pay attention if you want to play him. Then we have Centaurus Marshal 10 point less, always follow. We'll see Metin about the price. The Chaos Lord on Karkadrak, it's 10 point less. Eternus 20 point less, and the Ecstatic Hero of Chaos, the normal one, 10 point more. It's strange because it's going to be released quite soon, also the limited version of one of these. Okay. The Gun Summoner, 10 point less. The Gunner Brand, 10 point less. And the Skujugin Abraxia, 10 point less. So we had that Abraxia see quite a lot of decrease, because 20 points the normal version and 10 point the alternative version. So okay. And then instead we had that the Chaos Chariot, it's 20 point more, but it was quite cheaper, so I can understand that they increased a bit of point. Then we had that the Manstaler Phalanx, it's 10 point less, and the Vanguard, it's 10 point less. Here the Vanguard, sincerely lessening the point of it, not so great as an opponent, but okay, I can understand eventually. And then we move about the Fish Course. Being recent, okay, there is normal that there is some adjustment, so okay, nothing to say about. So we had the Abhorrent Archregent, 10 point less, okay, understandable. The Abhorrent Ghoul King, 10 point more. Sincerely, I would like to know who play with it, but okay. The Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Zombie Dragon, 10 point less. As I said, these models will always receive a plummeting about price, because they move high and then they go to be cut out. Then the Abhorrent Ghoul Warden, 10 point more. Okay, I can understand, because it's really quite good. The Grand Justice Gourmet, it's 40 point more. Okay, it was quite cheap, but still quite heavy as increase. The Royal Decapitator, it's 10 point more, and here sincerely I can understand, because it's really quite good. So before maybe it was a bit cheap, but I would have preferred that one, but not bad. Then we have about the Creepifiers and the Creepifiers for two models that see it 10 point more for each of these. Sincerely, these okay, I understand, but not so great. Okay, at least the Creepifiers are the same price of the Cryptoros, at least that one. The Crypt Guard, 20 point more, understandable, not so much, but okay. And the Royal Beast Flyers, 10 point more. This okay, understandable. Okay, I can understand about this. And to see about the Disney Pennant, that is 10 point more, not a great choice. And the Channel's Throne, that is 10 point now. And sincerely, I don't like, as I say, that the faction terrain see an amount of point. I can understand it's a way of give a tax for sure without any affecting of the other units, but still, also because the Channel Throne, I don't understand why it should be so expensive. It's not so great in my opinion, but okay. Then we move about the Night Hunt, and here we can see the Guardian Suit that decreases 10 points. Okay, we see that the characters are technically the same. Okay, not bad. And we have some correction about the others, but they are almost balanced, because we had the Deadblade Arrows, 10 point decrease. The Great Stalkers, that remember that are legend, 10 point more, but okay. But they improved also, remember, they also improved. Dex rate 20 points less. This is nice, because I play with them. And the minimum bashing 10 points less. Low. Sincerely, I see quite a lot of points by this, okay? The Pyrogeist, 20 points more. Okay. And the Skujugir and Black Coach, it's 20 points more. And sincerely, okay, but notice that from the alternative version to the normal one, you have a difference of 70 points. Still, you have to choose, because the normal one let you have the resurrecting way, and the Skujugiran one have you the crazy one of, I can say, massacring the opponent. So it's something that you have to choose, but they can be done, because, okay, it's understandable, this one. And okay, so anyway, the Neton has not received quite a lot of change, and they're quite balanced in my opinion, so not bad. Then we move about the Ossable Reapers, and here I'm happy because the units and this video only decrease on point, and almost all the units that I play. So the Archcavallo Zandos 20 points, okay, but Lich Cavallos 20 points less, and I low, because it means that if I play two of them, it's 40 points less. Okay. Nagash 30 points less, but since I don't care, because I don't play with it, and anyway, it's crazy expensive anyway. The Skujugiran Mortisan Bushshipper 20 points less, and sincerely this okay, but pay attention, because the alternative version, the Skujugiran, costs less than the normal one, so you have to choose which one you want to play anyway. The Gothic Harvester 10 points less, being one of the guys that play this, and even multiple than one, quite welcome. The Mortis Guard 10 points less, really quite crazy about this. Then the Mortal Guard normal one is 10 points less, and this is quite heavy, because it means that you can say quite a lot. The Necropolis Stalkers other 10 points less, so the Terratic Court, and the Skujugiran Mortal Guard it's 20 points less, so much that now the Mortal Guard normal one and the Skujugiran one cost the same. Sincerely, even only by this I can save really a lot, so much that I can even take another unit with what I save in points. So wow, it's something that you had to think, because it could rewrite your roosters thanks to this, because you can really have space that before you don't have. Not bad at all. Luckily, there's been no change about the 0 point for everything, so I'm really quite happy about the Ossable Reapers that literally are my favorite armies. Then we have about the Soulblight Gravelords. In here we can see that Laukavai at the decrease point of 20, Manfred 20 point more, okay, Martin's Giant 10 point less, and here I quite appreciate, because it's one of the ways to play my deathrattle army with the add of conversion option, so not bad. Again, Nagash 30 points less, Neferata 10 points less, Principal Rai 20 points less. I know that it was too expensive, but okay. Radukar the Beast 20 points less. Sincerely, here I would have kept what it was, but welcome. Then we have about the second Funk of Lunamia 20 points less. Okay. Then we have about the Waking 10 points less. But moreover, we see a decrease on point about the Waking on Skeleton Steel that it's becoming cheaper, at least. Instead, the White Lord on Skeleton Steel, it's 10 points more. Okay, sincerely, still now, I think that the difference of point between the Lord and the King are anyway too much. And the King should be decreased in point even more. Other 20 points less, in my opinion, will be perfect. Then we move to see the Askulgar to Blades that it's 10 points more, but sincerely I don't play them, but okay. The Barrow Guard 10 points less. This is quite heavy, because it means quite a lot. Same for the Deathrattle Skeletons that it's 10 points less. This means that you can save a lot, so have mass and save a lot to improve again other mass. So welcome. Deathbat 10 points less, and the Revenant Draconite 40 points less. This is really quite crazy, because it means that you can create a really strange and amazing skeleton army. The Deathrattle army that it's with the dragons, the master skeletons, the elites, the heroes. So wow, it's I had to remake my roosters because there will be a lot of improvement in my opinion. And then again, not a problem about the rest, it remains the same. The Groom Spite Kits see a lot of decrease, so the Dunkhold, Trogboss, the Drogstan, Sunchompa, the Shaman, okay, 20, 10, and 20. The loom boss on giant squig 10 point less, the loom spot on manga squigs 20 point less, the scar growth 30 point less, snarl boss 10 point less, the snarl on Werla 30 point less. It's quite heavy, this as discount. Trug, it's 20 point less, so a lot. We can say really quite a lot. The Boingross Bundes 10 point less, the Trogos 10 point less, the Manger Squigs 20 point less. This is quite crazy. Then the Moonglass Shooters and Stabas and the Trogos 10 points less each, so not bad. The Sneaky Snuffers 10 point less, the Squeak Herd Hopeless and the Sunstellar Wheelers 10 point less, so you can say really quite a lot. If you play some of these combined, you can save so much that you can include some other things, so not bad at all. Another change for the battle formation on for this. Then the Iron Jaws, again a lot of decrease on point. So the Boy, Big Boss 10 point less, Godrak 20 point less, but Godrak okay, it's understandable. The Mega Boss 10 point less, and the Mega Boss on Mob Crush 20 point less. So here you can start to think about if you include, for example, the Mega Boss on Mob Crush or Godrak itself, because for the same price that it was before the normal Mega Boss on Mo Crash, you can include eventually Gordrak, so you have to think about. The Vorchanter 10 point less, Zogrog Avil Smasher it's 10 point less, then again the Hard Boys and the Brute Rangers 10 point less, the Brutes 20 point less, it's quite heavy this one, the Gorgruntas 10 point less, the Weird Brute Bretzak 10 point less, and the Scourge Giran with Brute Wreckers, it's 10 point less again. So now you can choose to play the Scourge Giran version for the same price that it was before the normal one. So, okay, it's to understand. Then we can see about the cool boys again. We have Goosebacks, the Mouth of Gork, that it's 30 point less. This is heavy. Then the Mork Knob, it's 10 point more, but the Snatch Boss on Sludge Raker Beast, it's 20 point less. The Swamp Carla Shaman, it's 10 point more. Then the die balance in some way, okay. And then we have instead the increasing point for all the other ones. So the Ghost Creepers, it's 10 point more. The Cool Boys, Monster Killers, it's 10 point more. Understandable, these ones. Mescuer Bots Boys, 10 point more. And the Crawler Shlokot, 10 point more. But the main important thing is the part about the part of the battle formation song, because see a lot of increase on point to balance. So the battle formation Sword Horde Bullies, it's 30 point more. The right trade Slippery Scumbag, it's 20 point more. The Artificial Power Morse A Pebble, it's 10 point more. The Heroic Trait Egomaniac, it's 10 point more. The Artificial Power Swamp Stab, it's 10 point more. The Monster Taste to phone in, it's 10 point more, and the Faction Terrain is 20 point more. Again, I don't like that they put point in the part about the Faction Terrain, but okay, we have to understand that it's used to balance. And then we had the Ogre Motribe, so we had the First Roll on Thunderstrucks, that is 20 point less, it's quite heavy. Dusk on Thunderstruck, it's 10 point less. There are the Mantrapper, that is the new one, okay. The Strutter Master, it's 10 point more, and the Tyrant, it's 10 point less. Then the Noble Scope Launchers, it's 10 point less, but the Noble Standard one, that it's the one that is the mass in this army, it's 20 point more. The Lead Butcher are 10 point less, and really quite something that you have to think, because we have the Morphing Pack that it's 10 point less, the Stonehorn Bestriders that it's 10 point less, the Thunderstruck Bestriders that it's 10 point less. So you can really have a change in the way that you can play, because you can save quite a lot of points to use for something else. Then we have the Skujogiran Drummer Scope Launch that it's 10 point less. Notice that it's the same amount of the standard one. Then we had the Skujugina Arm Brass that is 10 point more. Okay, understandable, maybe. And then we can see some change also about the battle formation with two of these that see increase on points. So we have the Mob Puff Menaces that it's 10 point more, and the Greedy Eaters that it's 10 point more. So something that you have to think eventually about, but you can see a lot from the other units, so eventually it's not a problem to absorb these ones. And anyway, are both these the Scourge Giran versions, so you have to understand if you need or not about them. Then we have about the Son of Behemoth. Here we have Kragnos that is 10 point more, but okay. But you have the Scourge Giran Kraken Eater Mega Gargant that is 10 point less, so okay. Anyway, it costs a bit more than the standard version, but not quite different. And we had the Mocrusher mob that is 20 point less, so eventually you can absorb what it's the other cost that can be improved. And we had then the Artifact Power that is the Mantle of Task of Horns and the Extra Calusus Feet that is 10 point more. So it's almost balanced, this one, okay? You can save quite a bit, but same stay. The universal manifestation rules remain the same, so not a problem. And then we have about the Regiment of Renown that are practically almost the same. Obviously, there are some changes for the Age of Sigmar, particularly because we had the Saber of Cinder that is 20 more. And from the Caladon Overlord, because we had the Skyport Prophetess that are 30 point more. And okay, it's really quite nice. Obviously, there are the new ones to add, okay. And here you can find that are all the new ones or simply some change, but it's not a problem. And for the most part are the same. And then we have something also that is been updated about the other ones. So for example, there are some correction about the Knights of the Crown and so on. You have to go to see if there is something that has been changed that you need, because there is more and more each time. So for example, we have the Fate Master here that has seen a change about the regiment option. If you need, you go to see what you need about. So okay, anyway, there are a lot of legends that you can use or not, it's up to you. So not bad. So to say about such update, sincerely I think that it's more related about the points than the fact, because the fact are more about some adjustment about the writing. Okay, it's more about explaining much better. It's not something that it's really quite heavy change. What's changed are the points, because a lot of armies see a lot of changes that could rewrite how they create your own rooster. So for example, I have the part about the Seraphon that see a lot of decrease on points, so I have to readjust so that I can include even more. The part about the Super Gravelords, it's the part about the deathrattle, and so the mass part of it make me save quite a lot, so I have to recalibrate and see if I include even more, but I quite like. And the part about the Super Reapers, it's always a gain, so I quite happy about. So here it's up to you. What do you think about? Have you found some fact that you were really missing and you needed, or something that you still are going to miss, or eventually it's the point that you have prefer something change even more because you are one of the army that has seen a really great hype scale of points, or simply you are on par, or like me, you have been lucky and you've seen a decrease on points, so you have quite fun about. I'm quite curious about, because I think that this it's really considered about the points. Okay, there is also the part about the Smith of a shooter, but those I think that will be the main the next month when it's updated the part about the rules, so that everyone can have them, and maybe we see some fact that can make change the way that some are testing now. I'm quite curious to know about your opinion, so let's talk about it in the comments eventually. Anyway, from deynonmod it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.